Tapestries are a unique way to decorate your walls. Some would say that it's like painting with yarn, but tapestry artists don't want you to think of it that way. They want you to see the beautiful weavings, the way that it adds texture and warmth to a room. But before you can do that, you need to know how to choose and care for a tapestry, which is why I'm here today to visit tapestry artist Pamela Topham. I'm hitting the road, searching for answers and finding great design. It's a quest for beauty, function, and of course, inspiration. When you're looking at tapestries, how can you tell that one tapestry is really high quality and another one is maybe poorly done?
I think that if you were looking at it, it should look firm and strong. It shouldn't be sort of wobbly, and you know, it should lie fairly flat. It's not a painting, and it is sometimes they can have a little more movement than a painting. They might, if these are mounted, but if they were free hanging, they might have a little bit of a ripple because they are woven. I think that you would look at the imagery in the same sense you'd select any kind of art, you know, that it's an image that you want to live with that will hold your interest for more than a moment. It's not like, oh, what a funny thing, what a great... I know when I've looked at a lot of art, I'll think that something's very clever, but I might not want to live with it every day, because once you've gotten over the cleverness of it, is it still interesting? So it should be very interesting. It should engage you in the subject and the composition. And then in terms of the quality, I think just mainly you want to look at a firm, well-structured piece, which you should be able to identify. It's good to look around at a lot of different pieces, and then you'll get a feeling for it. I mean, if you went to the West and you're looking at Navajo rugs and you looked at a variety, you'd start seeing some are finer, they're more finely woven, and you start looking at how the yarns are joined, you get a feeling for the fineness of it.
When you think of the best quality tapestries, what type of, I guess, weft do they use in those? I
think wool and silk are the most common, you know. There are tapestries that you'll see, say especially at the Metropolitan Museum and other places, and they can be 500, 600 years old. So they do have a longevity. They do require some care. You know, they do require a certain amount of upkeep and care.
How do you care for a tapestry?
It's in how it's hung. You don't want it to collect a lot of dirt. There are ways of cleaning a tapestry. Basically, you can use a screen, like a window screen, and you can vacuum over the screen to get surface dust off.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, I thought that was clever.
That is very clever.
That way you don't want to directly vacuum, and you could pull ends out of the tapestries. You might suddenly have little things floating out, you know? You wouldn't want that.
Oh, that'd be a nightmare.
They did, I guess it was about 4 years ago, they cleaned the unicorn tapestries at the Metropolitan Museum. And that must have been an event, you know, with the textile department there. So that, in that case, they were in water. You can put them in water, you know, they're wool.
Because they're fabric, just like you clean clothes, but
I mean, if
much more delicate.
Over time, you know, if they got, you know, these are tapestries, these are 400 years old. So that is an undertaking. So I have cleaned a few tapestries for people, you know, when they've moved them around a lot, or maybe they shouldn't be near a vent where they could be drawing dust or something. Basically, otherwise, it's like you care for a painting. You don't want a painting in direct sunlight.
Right.
You know? I mean, when you see things in a museum, it's very low light these days, you know, but you know, normal light in the house is fine. You know, but if you have a spot, you have a skylight or something, that did happen to me once, where there was a skylight, and then in the winter when the sun was lower, the light went right across it every day, and it did fade the silk in that piece, and I was able to use a textile dye that you could paint on it, and I fixed it, sort of. But so that was a lesson. Just like a painting, that you don't want it in direct light.
Are there any spaces in the home in particular that are good for tapestries?
I think think most commonly my pieces are in living rooms, but they could be anywhere. I wouldn't put it in the kitchen. I mean, that...
Or the bathroom, I can imagine.
No place that's going to be damp or smelly. Like, you don't want your tapestry smelling like the garlic you cooked yesterday.
Check out my website, askthedecorator.com, to discover more about this topic, read informative how-to articles, or watch other videos from my trip. You'll find a variety of helpful decorating advice when you stop by.